Hi, this is Chris from Hendyamps, and I am here to talk about the cooker. So the cooker was intended to be the combination of two worlds: the best that solid state has to offer, specifically dealing with high voltage MOSFETs, because those are my favorite, and combining them with the best that transformer world has to offer. And so what we ended up with was a combination of a couple of different types of topologies that got all mixed together and turned into, well, the cooker. And so what is the cooker good for? The cooker is good for, well, anything. any source you want to put through it, it's going to make it sound better, and it's really not going to be difficult to make it sound better. Not a lot of bad options. It's just straightforward. What type of greatness do you want? So I'm going to walk through the controls here. Starting with steam and pressure, think of this as kind of your input gain. So this drives the input gain for the circuit, and this will drive your trim for the output of the circuit. And you can manipulate these by, cranking this one up and bringing this one down and get an interesting combination of warmth, or if you want to thin out a tone or whatever you want to do. Those are interactive controls and will provide you a lot of versatility even without touching anything else. But if you do want to go to other things, then you can bring in roast. And roast it does increase your volume a little bit, but what it's doing is it's actually working with steam to drive the circuit in ways that enhance a different type of boost. So it's a boost that's going to enhance the overall density of your low mids and things of that nature. It's not going to boost your volume a ton. Instead, it's going to be adding more of a density. Crisper is going to be kind of like an air control. It's going to be controlling a lot of your super high frequencies so that you can add a little bit of pizzazz when you want it, or if you don't want it, then don't use it. And obviously we have the switches below to support each one of those controls. Very simple to use, very straightforward, and it's just one of those, hey, turn it up till you like it, or turn it back down, and either way is great. Next we have these two switches right here, which is preheat. And to be perfectly honest with you, I just leave these on every single time I do anything because they just make everything sound better. These are two very boutique, high-level custom transformers that I have just never found anywhere else. And they actually increase the volume, but you don't lose bandwidth in the process, which seems to defy the laws of physics, to be perfectly honest with you. But, man, they are special. And so, essentially, when you have them on, they're engaged. When you turn them off, they're disengaged. My cheat sheet says just leave them on, calibrate to that, and be done with it because it always sounds better. And then we have the last two controls, fry and sear. And these are kind of like the opposite concept of preheat. These are deliberately undersized transformers that are running in kind of a little bit of an EQ network. And so what's happening is that it's allowing you to glue together music as the transients start to smear a little bit, but it's not like a smear in everything just got blurry kind of way. It's more of a smearing in the sense of, oh wow, everything just sounds like it's gelled together. Now, fry is one application of this particular circuit in such a way that it actually drops your top end, and it's got a significant range. So most of the time your useful range is going to be in here, but you have way more available when you need it. And it's really easy to dial in something that kind of takes some harshness out of your mix or out of whatever source is that you're using. It's super powerful, and it, like I said, it just adds a really kind of a gloss while it's darkening it, which is very strange to say. I realize that sounds strange, but it actually makes sense when you use it. Sear is a different sort of an idea. Sear does not want to make everything darker. Instead, it's kind of like a smiley control. So it's gonna take your mids, your upper mids, your lower mids, and it's just gonna start dropping them. But it's not an EQ network that just drops them. Instead, what's happening is that this particular transformer application with some other pieces in the circuit is actually causing the transformer to really hit your mids hard, really hit it hard, and so it gives you kind of this finishing touch. This is probably my favorite control of the entire unit, although everybody has their own preferences. Maor is partial to this side over here with some touches of these. Everything has its place. It's all fantastic, and so we have fun debates about which control is the best control. But nonetheless, every one of these controls sounds awesome, and sear is an incredible way to finish mixes, incredible way to glue things together, and honestly, one of my favorite combinations is to take sear and start working with it, add that kind of a little bit of a transformer-based tightening of the mids, and then you fry to darken some of the highs that will happen as sear is turned up and kind of boost it a little bit. So always think in combination of controls because there's a lot of power found in that. Now, there's one other thing about sear that's really funky, and that's this. The full range of sear is up to this 50% range. So from 0 to 5 is your full sear range. After that, sear starts dropping back down, kind of the opposite, until you reach around here, and then it goes back to completely flat, but with a low-mid dip. I know this is really strange stuff, but it's really neat, and there was no other way to make this circuit other than to have it do this. And so at this setting, you're going to have the same as if it's here, except there's a low-mid dip that takes place that sometimes can be absolutely perfect if you have a low-mid-heavy mix. So it's worth exploring the full range and knowing that, well, this is the same as this, but that is not the same as this. So your full sear range is from here to here, but then from here to here, you're going to develop a low-mid dip, and just lots of fun options. The last control would be this switch right here. It's got a little red control on it. And the reason for this is because what this control does is it's going to like mega boost the input gain. And so when it's in this position, you're going to get a full range boost, like everything is going. And you're going to have a lot of gain. So be careful, you're going to clip your converter. So you're going to have to either pull this down or you're going to have to pull the pressure down. Usually I like doing stuff like this and I can get some pretty crunchy stuff happening. Now, what is the difference between in this setting and that setting? Well, what happens is in this setting is you actually have a little bit of a very, very low bass cut. So here, if you're starting to drive it a good deal, you're going to actually run into some trouble where the low bass is going to start distorting earlier. So if you need to clean it up, you can clean it up like that. So that's what that really allows you to do. It's a little bit of a different curve on the boost itself, and both can be very, very useful. So have fun messing with it and finding the options. But generally speaking, the cooker, we tried to design it so that you could find the perfect setting in a very short amount of time. Minimal messing around, easy recall, and that's pretty much the end of it. So that's the cooker.
In the corner of a room, that's where deals are made. You pay your way, he don't come the same. 'Cause scars never fade that easily. Walking through the wood strap, he the boss man. Lady on his hip with a grip, never on brand. If you run your lip with a tip, you get tossed, man. Put your cups in the air for the boss, man. is strong and marks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men.